Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you are doing great. Yeah, today we're going to be making this here. Hello Zigzag, how are you? How's everything? How's your week? Yeah, so we're going to make this anime town. Now you can see I've been testing out a few things. I like this glass shader here. Yeah, I've been testing out how to make this glass shader. Now maybe let me show you again how to do that. I think we can start with this building because it's one with the glass shader, and then we can go from there. But before we do that, let's do some quick promos. So yeah, I want to start with my own add-on, Quick Decos, which is an add-on that lets you texture easily using decos, and you can see how it's used here. And I've made a version, I've released a new version, version 2, which gives you a much easier interface to work with. And yeah, you'll also see me use it in this live stream. So if you want to get it, link is in the description. Yeah, so then Extreme PBR is a library of PBR materials that you can use in your projects. It's over 2,000 materials I can see from water. I also has these other tools that you can use to blend different materials. You can see here they're blending rock with grass, car paint, just a lot of materials. And then Pure Sky is a sky system that you can use in Blender. EV and Cycles supports clouds, volumetric fog, just anything that you think of you can need for sky. You can even add planets, moons, and other things. You can see, yeah, gone are the days of using HDRIs. So sky systems are the way to go. Yeah, so get it for yourself. A link is in the chat. Let's continue with today's project, which is making this here. Okay, so let's start by creating a shader for the glass, and I think this is a good series for anyone who wants to learn procedure texturing in Blender. Yeah, so I have a plane here. Let me apply the rotation and scale, and I want to create this glass material, so I'll create a new material. I'm going to start with texture. Let me turn on my shortcuts here. Texture, gradient texture, and you can see we have a gradient from left to right, but we wanted to repeat so that we have tiles and tiles of this gradient. So let me clear this node. Okay, so to tile it, we can add vector mapping. So Ctrl T to add texture coordinate mapping like this, and we can add a vector math node, convert vector math node, and this can allow us or let us do some vector math here. And the operation we want is the modulo or modular, however you pronounce it, to tile the, it just repeats the texture. So let me say we have an image. Let me grab an image. Let me say, let's say use this as an example, and you applied this here. Let's use UV coordinates. Basically, this will just try and tile the texture for you. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing here. But This is a gradient. We want those kind of mesh or grid look. So I can add a convert math node here and use the operation of greater than, and that should give us, let me see, that should give us the vertical lines like that. Now we need the horizontal lines. For that, we can still use the same setup. Actually, instead of using UV, let's use object, because it's much easier. Now the issue with using object, any values, the black values are in negative, so we need to make sure that they're also not, there are also patterns like this. So to make sure that they are patterns, we need to make sure that they are not negative values. So I'm going to add an absolute operator here to convert them into non-negative values. Absolute. Where is that? Is that the operation I'm looking for? It should be. Okay, not exactly working out as I wanted, but I'm not going to waste time on that. Let's just use UV. So you know, I want object, and I can just move this so that we don't have any negative values like that. Now let's add. Hey, thank you, Lucy. Thank you. So we want horizontal lines now. For that, we can just duplicate this setup and use the same mapping nodes. But this time, we want to rotate this so that the gradient is from top down. So I will just use a vector, a convert vector math. I already have one here. And this time we can use the vector rotate. Actually, we can do, it's under vector rotate vector or vector rotate. So we want to rotate this 90 degrees. And you can play with the numbers to make sure that you get the right axis like that. Now if we add our modular to make the patterns repeat, we have our horizontal line, and now we can also just move this. And then we can blend the two using a math node. This time let's try minimum, and we have our grid. I like that. Now we can scale it up or scale it down. Then we have the grid, but we don't have the actual gradient. Let me show you the shader we want to create. Let me go to my asset library, search for anime glass. So this is what we are going for. So we have that look. Now you can see so something like this. Anyway, so we have this gradient, and I think this one here. I think we can create another gradient, use the same vector map. Hello, Helena. Wolves Anna, how are you? Glad you're joining us. We can use the same map. Now this time, let's use the rotate vector again. Then modulus. Yeah. Let me see how I set this up, because I'm forgetting the nodes I used. Let me see, because I was practicing with this. It seems I have the rotation after the modulus instead of how I was doing it. There are several ways to do this. Instead of just going with this, let me have this gradient and this gradient. We should all match. So all I have to do is just blend these two. So I'll just add a mix node. I'm going to do it a bit different from how I tested it, because I'm forgetting how I did it last time. But because there are several ways to do things, so this should also work. We end up with the same results. Let me scale this up. So we have the gradient. Hello, Royal Plays. How are you? Glad to see you. Do you have any recommendation? A PC for Blender, bro? Well, the one I'm using is not that beefy, but you can use specs, exclamation mark specs, to see what I'm using. Is Blender good for making 2D animation series? Yeah, definitely. I've seen people using it. Yeah, so now we can grab this grid here, lay it on top of this with a blend node. We can use multiply like that. So now we can, let me see, multiply these two. Let's use screen. Okay, so you can add a color ramp here to colorize this. So we use a blue and a greenish. I think maybe these need to be flipped around. Yeah, so something like that. And then we can use a glossy shader. Like this. Let me compare this to my original version. Yeah, nearly identical. So it gives us the reflections, and yeah. I'm great, Rose. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so it gives us the same glass. I'm not sure which one is actually better. I think maybe I need this to be a bit brighter. So let's add hue and saturation here and just increase the value just a bit. Yeah, so that's going to be the glass we use. So let's make the entire building now. We can just start with a plane. It's a straightforward building, very cubical. So something like this. You just have to give it the same glass material. Let me try this. Let's hide this and scale the glass up. And try you can even just use UV projection. I think generated is enough. Do you composite the image after completing it? No, I rarely work on the image after I'm done streaming. So what you see after I'm done streaming is usually what the final result I end up with. I never really touch it again. Yes. Okay, let's add this concrete. I have anime concrete I made. I guess I can just show you how I did that as well. So we need to add these details. I think I also need to pick up pace just a bit because this is quite so this is like this. Now we can have this mirrored. Let me just think so. It seems there is one every after. Think these have to be a bit thick, so I need to go to think which one was it. Yeah, something like this, so that I can make those gaps thicker, because that's where our concrete is going to be. I can use an array. And then just add some detail. Hello, Harris. How are you? Glad to see you. Do you okay? Do you have some industry experience or completely self-taught? Yeah, self-taught. Don't have any of that fancy experience you're talking about. Okay, that's going to be our first building. I think I'm just going to apply all the, just join this into a single object. Origin to geometry, or origin to cursor. Okay, so that's building one. I think we might need to extend it a bit. You are very clever and handsome. Thank you. Anime City Street to what we're going to call the project. Okay, let's pick up pace. Like I said, let me just center my camera, position my camera. Where is my camera? So around here. Why can't? Okay, this should be taller. Let's grab ourselves a road. Maybe let me change the camera to a 20mm camera. Make the road a bit wider. This building should be maybe that big. Let's grab a shop to have here. Shop. These are all shops we made from previous videos, so or previous live streams. Hey Kapil, how are you? And good morning as well. How are things? Think this building should be wide or wider than what we have here, so let me just duplicate it like that. Hello Varinda, I'm not ignoring you, just a bit focused, but how are you? How's everything? I have some shops there. Let's set up the sky. You can use the pre-thumb sky, and then add a sun. Make a shorter building here. Hello fire in the sky, hope you are well, and everyone else. What we up to? Yeah, we're trying to create this scene here, and yeah, can we modify materials of the models that we added to the asset browser? Yes, you just have to go back to the original project and say this is the file. You just click this button and it takes you back to the original project. If it's a material, you select the material. So say this here. I can just go to original blend file. I think I have a bug. Let me see. Seems I have a bug. I'll fix it, but this should take you to the original blend file if it works. Yeah, I'll fix that bug. Didn't know it was there. Okay, I think we're done with this building. Let's add some clouds so we can make our scene look good. Let me change my camera clip distance to about 500. Maybe change Okay, wait, I have heard it can be, I will find the video how to change it. Yeah, you can. Please turn off the music. Is it too loud? Let me see. Ah, okay, I think my shouldn't be on. That should be okay. Okay, let's create this building here. Shouldn't be that difficult. So this building, hey, thank you for subscribing, Ayush Joel, thank you. Let's create this building here. It's just a block like this, tall block, about that size, and maybe wider like that, and then we have some room for shops here. Now this we can texture it. I'm looking at how this is textured. Let me see. Let me go to my texture folder. If I have it connected, I think we can just start with concrete. We have my texture folder add-on. Texture folder. I need to search for concrete. Do I have any concrete materials? Let me first link resources, flows. Let me search again. Okay. So I think we can use this and maybe this concrete to create this, and let me use smart projection. So that's going to be our starting point. Hello all out, good morning, how are you? How are you? So all out, where are you from? Hey, thank you Muhammad Arif for subscribing. Okay, so that's what we have. We want to give it the same color, so I'm just going to add another node here, change it to color. Maybe let me just sample this color, but I don't want these details, the texture details, to overwhelm the entire texture. So I'm just going to, I think the resolution of this is too much. Put it around there. Add a mix. I don't want the texture to stand out too much because you don't see it in this as well. Then from there we need some gradients. So I'm going to create a gradient map, UV map. Gradient UV map here. Because like I said, the thing to note about anime styles is that they have these gradients everywhere. You can even see it in the glass. So let's do that. Input a UV map, grab the gradient UV map, and I'm going to select this face, unwrap, and use a texture, gradient texture. So we have a top-down gradient, which I think should be, I need to use the gradient mask. It should be top-down gradient, like that. It will give us the anime look that we are looking for. Yeah, like that. Do the same for this face. Unwrap. Yeah, it gives us that top-down gradient. Do the same for this face. Unwrap gives us, you can already see without doing much, we already have that effect coming in. I'm going to send you my Blender work to my teacher. Is it enough to automatically open from external data to throw it with a texture? If you want to send your project to someone else, just go under File, External Data, Pack Resources, Pack Linked Libraries. That will make sure that all the textures are saved in the blend file, so you only have to send the Blender project. So now if I mix this, you can already see the effect that we are getting. Just that gradient look. Like that. Now for these windows, I'm going to design them separately. So let me just to make them reusable, and they are quite simple windows. Let me see. I think they're used here. They're reused here as well. So let's make one. Actually, we have made this before, but let's maybe repeat it again for those who weren't here. Again, we can start with texture gradient, top-down gradient. Let's make sure that we're using UV map, so that is easy for us to control. The gradient should be top-down, like that. Then you can see this has a frame around it, so I'm just going to insert this a bit, and I think around and I'm going to select these faces, go to vertex paint, and give them, let me make sure that I'm in material mode, give them a different color, Shift K. So we have a mask. So go input vertex color, and like I said, we're creating this frame here. Now, since this is an anime style, you don't really have to be too detailed with stuff. So we can blend these two here. This is going to be the factor, and this is going to be actually, yeah, I think we can have the frames should also have some sort of gradient. So, but the gradient for the frames is going to be a bit brighter. So let's add a color ramp, convert, color ramp should be brighter, like that. Then for this should be colored a bit colored, but the gradient effect should be there. And now if we add an array to this, we can basically create the window we want, and you can already see that it's showing up nicely. More viewers this time. Yeah. Sometimes YouTube can be generous, sometimes it's not. But yeah, we will survive. We're okay. Okay, so I think that's good enough for the window. So you can see we have a few versions of this, but let's just have this, I think, somewhere there. I think we should also have done this for this building to make it more clear. Let's use a shader, glossy shader for this, so that yeah, the issue with using this glossy shader is that things become a bit dark. So let's not use the glossy shader. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, Windows. Actually, let's just use another array here. Like that. Now, the windows also look taller. So maybe like that. Duplicate this and duplicate. So just evenly. You can use an array for this. Just okay. Now that we have that, we have these windows on the side. So Shift D, rotate 90. Now this time you don't need that array. We need just 2. That are thinner here. I think we should start with 1 up here. Add an array. Just duplicate this. -1. I think I should have used an array because now it's becoming difficult to align these. So like that. Do the same for this here. Like that. Okay. Now we can add these air conditioners. Do I have one? Let's find one on Google. Air. You can get this. And I'm going to use my quick decos to bring that in. Where is not loading. Yeah, I want to use this. Can import it as a deco. 90 degrees. Yeah, thank you for subscribing. That was Najia. Fun. You can save your time making one row after that an array for this row. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we want this. Just going to use Ian Hubbard's technique of just extracting the image. So that should be enough. And I can just Just have it like that. Okay, we have our SC. Now we can just have these placed randomly on the building. There's no need to spend too much time on this. So origin to geometry, just have one there. Let me actually look directly at this. Have another one. So each building seems to have one at least. They also seem to be bigger than I have them. And my sun direction seems off. Yeah, I'm starting to like how this building is coming up because I think it should be bigger. Okay. We also have these, I don't know how to call them, roof something. Cover. Actually, I have a roof cover. Let me go to my asset library. This thing here, you can use it. Let's make sure that it's not too detailed. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Backroad Paradise. Thank you. Thank you, Edward Late, for subscribing. Hello, AMV Kisa. How are you? And glad to see you. Okay, we have this, so we can randomly place these on separate windows. Seems not every window has one, but some have, some don't. Thank you, Askio, for subscribing. Can't pronounce your other name, but thank you. Even. Okay. Increase camera angle to the left to get a cool vanishing point. You mean like that? Or maybe we use a 15mm angle. This should be used with a diffuse. And maybe this should also use, yeah, like that, so that everything can be affected by the sun. Since all of these do have this shade, stunning work so far. Thank you, Kapil. Thank you. Hello, username. How are you? Let's reduce the add an array, a vertical. Okay. This one has to be its own. Make single user object data so that we can apply the rotation. All right, let me just now I'm seeing some light bleeding, so let's make sure that that is not a thing. Let me get the sun, give it some contact shadows to hopefully reduce the light bleeding. Okay. Okay. Are you a coffee or tea drinker? I'm both. I'm not very picky. It's just, but I guess I like coffee more because that's usually what I take mostly. Thanks for the live modeling. Thank you as well for being around. You are pro. Thank you. Okay, we need some S's as well on this side. Randomly placed as well. Okay, now we need some shops as well, so let's get some shops. I have this one here. And then there is this, like this shop is closed or something. Now we can find some other shops to use. So let's go to Google storefront. See what shops we can get. Modern sci-fi stuff someday. Yeah, of course. I think I've done something like that before. Now let's get this. And just go to my texture deco. I should have that there. Thank you, Lisha, for subscribing. Make so we can add some details to this. Thank you, Caleb Gordon, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Hello, Lost Guest Used. How are you? And glad to see you. See you are joining us. Let's make this somewhat reflective. And one more shop here. Okay, that's building one. How did you straighten that slope? I just scaled everything on the z-axis by 0. Amazing. I wish there was a way to turn my old neighborhood into a racetrack for a game. Well, there's a way. You just need to do it. Like, what's stopping you? Okay, so we have this building. Just make sure that there is no Z fighting here. Just move this a few inches. I'm going to grab this entire building, move it into a new collection, call it building 1. And I think I can use it for this in other areas. Can use it in other areas. And now let's make this one with some shops. So I'm just going to actually can also reuse this one. Maybe can grab this. Let me adjust the material for the glass so that this looks like a completely different building. And I don't like how the glass is looking. Actually, we do need let's try convert. Okay, I wanted to convert the shader to RGB, but it doesn't seem like but that's doable in cycles. Okay, Top Channel, I accept your challenge. You may turn my entire city into an open world for a game. Yeah, no, I will let you do that for yourself. Nico Chocho, thank you for subscribing. I try mine. I like try what? Yeah, I miss mouse. I'll let you do that yourself. Are you using more assets? Maybe this will help. Please take a look. Take a look at what? Create the objects models under one collection, then add a plane or mesh outside, and in geometry node of the mesh, add the collection which contains the assets you want to upload. Done. Wait for changing mode. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there. Sorry. I think my PC would explode after building one road. Then you just have to cheat in different areas because if you try to do everything directly, it's not going to really work out. Okay, let me see. What do I want? I want to. Okay, so the thing about this shader here, it doesn't look good if there isn't a light. So let's add a light here and see. A really strong light. Doesn't seem to have a lot of effect as I hoped it would, because I think what it needs is something to reflect. Maybe, yeah, something like that. You can see that. Thank you, Barix, for subscribing. No, let me change the color of these lines. Maybe instead of using UV, let me use UV. Yeah, we need a new approach for that building. For now, let's first continue with other buildings. Maybe try to add some more shops on this side. And reuse this building a few times until we exhaust. I think our camera should be, let's see. It seems our shops are too low. Oh, thank you, dear Bill Seeker, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Seems these shops are too low. So let's scale them up. This also should be a bit detailed. So let's add some of that detail as well. You forgot I asked you for modifying materials from Asset Browser. Oh, you mean Asset Browser? Well, I'm not using the Asset Browser. I'm using my own asset library So yeah, there should be tutorials on how to use the asset browser. I just don't use it as often since I have my own add-on to do that. I'm a total Blender noob and I have been trying to research this style for a video I'm making, and this is really helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I think it's a popular niche that people don't really cover as much as you would expect. I think I need let's grab another road. Now think it's have this like there. Extend this road. Let's add some volumetric fog. No, just want to use the emission. Hello, Kelly Johnson. Greetings. And thank you for the $2. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'm going to angle this. What have you been up to, by the way? Just watching my amazing work. Thank you. Let's add some more clouds, some more fake clouds. Hey, let's make this building here. This one. And that, you can start it in the same way we started the other one. So just actually, let me get this here. Shift G collection. Yes. Where is this? Let me duplicate this collection, this entire building collection. Can you modify the existing building and just change the window shape? Yeah, I think I can. I'm just going to first try and see if I can change the material a bit, because this one looks like the same building, but it just has a different material. Let me first hide this fog. Shift. So this one is more bright, and I'll or more white, doesn't, something like that. And the shops, we can also have them in front like that. So let me see if this can suffice as a shop. I think this one, let's change this a bit. Let's change the windows. Maybe even add some gaps that make the windows more like this one can also be taller. Let me grab these air conditioners and just join them into one object, duplicate it. Looks like there is something in the middle of the building. In the for which building? I think I'm going to move these shops in. They don't really look too good. The one you are making, as if something is on the reference version. Oh, like here. So these windows are kind of separated. Let me see. Let me first see what. You know, one thing I'm realizing is that these windows can also work as doors. So if we get rid of this, we should be able to use these as doors. Yeah. So this one, as you said, it's a different version. Now we can. Thank you for subscribing. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but thank you. So this one has like a gap in the middle and then has some details. That should be short as well. Actually, we can just use one object. Should be shorter. Now we can add extra detail. How you extending the road? Is there a text back to the tile? No, I'm just using an array. So it's just one image. One plane like that, and then an array. I think this should be, I don't know, maybe like that. I also like how this building looks. So let's create another one. And I think with a base shape like this, we can just create different versions and just play with the window shape or window gaps to get the style we want. So if I increase the gaps between these, I can basically create an entirely new building. Like that. Can duplicate this, maybe have a taller version. Yeah, thank you for subscribing, Nicox. Thank you. Okay. Think going to have some buildings in the back. So okay, now let's will you be on tomorrow? No. Tomorrow I'll be doing some programming, so when I'm doing that, I usually just do that. I don't stream. That's why you see I skip a day, because I have to handle other stuff for my business. Made the changes so fast? Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's start working on the street. Let's see. Let me go to Google and look for some road marks. Let's see. Road mark texture. Yeah, we have this. This could work. Maybe this as well. So let's see. Just going to save this. Let me call this, create a new folder, call it road max. I think this could also, this too could work as well. Yeah, this too can work. Road markings. Same, kind of same results. I also like this stop. It has a watermark to it better. And this one can also work. We can adjust it. And this, I like these cracks as well. This is quite low res. And get most of these are low resolution, so not really sure if they would work for us, but let me save this. These cracks, this this is not okay. This should work. This definitely should. This as well. Well, I came in late. What have I missed? Well, we are trying to make this city scene, anime style scene here using Blender. Is it better if we plan this out on a blueprint first? I am not sure that would help a lot if you planned it out on, unless if you're really going to be very detailed. But since I'm just making one street, I don't think it's necessary for me to do that. I'm going to go to my quick folders, add a new directory. So the directory I've just created was, let me see, where was I saving these images? Okay, some of them are, let me see, show folder. So they're in desktop roadmap folder. So my desktop roadmaps add directory. And yeah, we can start with this, maybe add it here. Let me see, add this here. Need to make sure that it's in the scene collection. So we have the lines, but I don't want the asphalt, I just want the lines. So if you're using the texture deco add-on, I'll link in the description if you want to get it. I can use color alpha, since this image doesn't have an alpha, and just play with these settings to get just the lines. There's a watermark here, but yeah, since this is just for demonstrations, I don't really mind. So these should be around. Can have them around there. Okay, then maybe make them longer. Okay, now let's find another one. Let's get this. I just like the arrows. Actually, let me add this again. Make sure that it's in the scene collection. Yeah, just like the arrows. Since we already have the crossing lines. Let me first make sure that I use the alpha. I want only the arrows. Okay, I don't want the lines, these zebra lines. And I also want, you see, in the image, these lines are kind of bent. So we can either unbend them using directly here, or let me see. If I add a loop here, I can rotate them a bit, or just use UV editor. Let me add a line around here. Just straighten. Try to straighten that, and now I can extend these lines all the way to the back. Yeah, so that's how texture decals works, and I think it's a useful add-on. So we have the arrows are like that. Let's see. Oh, I see. I created a layout using Adobe Illustrator as a flat blueprint. This gave me placement of building, which made it faster, but maybe you have a better method, which I'm open to. Well, for me, I just lock my camera. So I know that this is the final scene I'm going to, this is the final placement of my camera. So I just work within this view so that I don't need a blueprint for that. I just move buildings around, see which one works, which placement works, which one doesn't, and go with that. Okay, I have these cracks, so let me add them somewhere here so that this road is not too uniform and repeated. So I'm just going to make sure that this is in the scene collection. Yeah, want to make it look like there is a patch here. So again, I can use just to break up the road a bit. Yeah, like a road patch. I can even change the color a bit. I don't know. I don't like that. I should have a stop road mark. I think I downloaded it. Okay. Stop. Let me say stop road mark. Texture. Stop. PNG. Yeah, I think this is okay. Let's see, what else can we do? We need some street lights, so let me go to my asset library, grab some street items. Have these light here. Add that. Then traffic lights. Let me first add this barricade. Make sure that I'm working within the scene collection. Okay, Planner is freezing on me. Hello, input fake name. How are you? Easier to get higher resolution images, but it's not faster. And we have a time limit. Let me add street sign. Oh, this is a traffic light. I think I need this to be bigger. Doing good? Great, great, great. Great to hear. I think because some of my assets are using 4K textures, it's starting to slow down my viewport. So let's see what I can do about that. Go to the UV editor and try to find these images because they are quite large, and just resize them 1080 by 1080. Let me see. I wish there was a way to just resize all of the images at once. I was planning on creating an add-on for that, or a feature for that. But haven't gotten around to do that. My apologies, but did you cover poly count on something like this for game engine purpose? I'm sure if you imported this into engine, that would be a concern, right? Yeah, the polygon here is not that bad. It's actually very minimum. Let me see. Can I show that wireframe? You can see the only thing with even the streetlights don't really have that much poly count. Nothing here has too much polygons. Especially the buildings, they are very, very light. Let me see the overall poly count here. We are around 200,000 vertices. That's not for the entire scene, so that's not really that bad, I think. Yeah. Resize. BPY. Let me go to the scripting panels and see resize. Let me see. I want to check something here. dpy.data.images, any image dot. Okay. Since there is no resize feature, anyway. Okay. Let's add more. More street detail. I worked on a team that did the Walking Dead scene, and this layout would have made a great setup for the corner shot. I was using model as my modeler. Oh wow, wow, nice. So which studio were you working with? Do you have a course on something like this? No, I haven't really done any. Yeah, about scenes like this, but I think I should start making some. Okay, let's start adding these signs, street signs, and stuff like that. You know what? Let me also duplicate these. So that our city is not floating in the air, saying gaps. Let me grab my sun. Where is my sun? Sun. Thank you, DMZ, for subscribing. Thank you. Let's add our signature cut. Just crossing the road. Thank you, GHX Kuma, for subscribing. I like how there is a light here, so let's fake that by adding an area light around here, because it looks quite dark here. Just going to add some fake lights in different areas to make them stand out more. It was a mobile game. The studio is closed now, back from 2015, but this reminds me of what we did back when, because I joined in late. Did you explain how to import the textures from the beginning? To import textures is very simple and straightforward. You just have a plane or have any object, add a material, and then texture, import image texture, texture, import texture, image texture, and then just open the image you want to use. I'm just using my own add-on to handle that because it speeds up the process. Thank you, Lynch, for subscribing. Thank you. these hard covers, some of these buildings had sheds. I'm not sure why they don't have anymore. I'm not sure. Let me add that very quickly. Thank you for subscribing, Kuma, Dexter. Thank you. I'll just solidify to this. It seems we have some light bleeding issues. Let me see what's causing that. I think this light here. So we need to give it contact shadows, increase the distance. I can see you doing a New York City like this for a Spider-Man game. Unless if we are like a team, but doing it alone, yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, I want to add some billboards. So let's look for billboard. Billboard resist. Billboard add. Design. Texture. How much bigger can this environment become before your PC struggles? It's already struggling. Especially if you have PBR images in your scene that are 4K. My PC starts to struggle. Example. I want just the texture without the. Thank you, Boris, for subscribing. Billboard. Advertisement. Let me just say advertisement. Yeah. This should work. Actually, let me create a new folder. Call this billboard. Is 7 up. Shoes. Great question, but how can we avoid this, or is there no way? No, there's no way to to stop it. Yeah, there's computers always have limitations, and I don't think there is a way around it. Anyway, so I think those can be enough. I'm just going to use my texture, take quick decos. Let me add in the billboard directory, and now we can maybe add this here. Just like that. Actually, what we can do is, let me see. Can give this like a white material, and then re-import my billboard. No, I think let me switch it to this advertising billboard. No, I want this one. Yeah, and I want this to seem damaged, so I'm going to use my custom alpha. I use a grunge map, like maybe this, to just kind of break this apart and make it seem old and dirty. Actually, let me make this one reddish. Yeah, so billboard advertising like that. I'm just going to duplicate this again. Maybe this time can be a smaller version here. Switch it to this, and I'm going to reduce yeah. Instances help with memory. Yeah, but you can't just have your entire scene full of instances, because you are restricted with how much changes you can make to instances. Adding more RAM would help, but you also need GPU, so your graphics card is also going to be required. You might need to beef up that as well. Hello, MS Movie. Your PC is a roast potato. Yeah, Kapi, what PC do you have? Like, what kind of PC do you have? I don't think I've ever asked. Billboard textures. What if you created instances? Well, I've used instances. So this is an instance. This is an instance of this building, and you can see every time I make changes to this, all the instances change. But you can't say, if I wanted this building to be different, I can't do that because it's an instance of this. I would have to change this. So you are limited. How do you make it look like anime? It depends on the materials you're using. Go to my asset It's a 980 Ti GPU. Yeah, that's a potato. 9080 is. I think I had a 750 and it could barely do anything. So I feel you, man. I feel you. Have some other billboards that I have. You can see how it's starting to struggle. Question. So regarding a game engine, creating prefabs and dropping them into place won't make a difference of scene overload. Well, game engines handle assets differently. So they, like Unreal Engine now has Nanite, and you can pretty much use any assets with as many poly count as you can, but yeah, the project files are going to be very large. The size is going to be quite big, so yeah, it's not a full solution, complete solution. So Unreal Engine has Nanite. I'm sure Unity will also come up with something. They might already have something. I'm just not sure. It's great for winter month. Yeah, it saves on your power bill because you don't need to use your AC if you have your your potato PC. Just throw in put on a heavy render and you'll be okay. You'll be hitting two birds with one stone. You're hitting your room and also rendering. You just have to be careful it doesn't blow up in your face. Have you ever used Modo before, and if so, what's your opinion? No, I've seen it being used, and I think it's quite cool, but I've not used it myself. You struggle with DaVinci Resolve? I've not used it. I've not used DaVinci as well, so I can't relate. Game like Spider-Man uses environment cube mapping for interiors. Is that so? Like how? What I know that they use something. Some games just use something like parallax mapping. Let me see, parallax. Oh, something. There is a website, parallax shader. Yeah, I'm not forgetting. Let me see. Parallax. I think they use something like parallax mapping just to forgetting how it's called. But you can get away with a lot of geometry, a lot of detail without using any geometry. It's just a shader thing. Hello, Octavius. How are you? Glad to see you. How long have we been streaming? Yo, thank you, B2K Motion, for subscribing to ours. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I want the background to be very saturated, as saturated as this. So let's add mix RGB here. and just make this super saturated. And no, I've not played with Unity. I've used Unreal Engine, but yeah, my PC can't really handle Unreal as well, so it struggles quite a lot. So I gave up. I want to add billboards and other stuff, but yeah, I'm starting to hit the limitations of my PC. So I think this billboard is simply too much, or too big. So maybe instead of having it that's not bad. Maybe you can also have another one up here. I wonder if this were a racer game of 3 drag cars through a downtown setup, would it be smart to use cutscenes or rotation of the in a clever way? Like a game, I think you would have to make the buildings. You don't have to make them as detailed as these are, but you would have to make the buildings. Now, I don't like how this building is repeated here when we have some detailed buildings. So let me move this. Let me see. Actually, if I make this thinner like that, and just bring this one here. Yeah, just kind of, yeah, breaks up. Actually, I think might even prefer this building to come before this, but let me see. Things are getting heavy, quite heavy. Trying to see if I can grab the entire building. Maybe have it in its own collection. Move that. I think my PC is going to crash anytime soon because the way is lagging Yeah, I think now things look more broken up, which is nice. If you zoom in with the camera, like the reference image, can you delete some buildings which is then out of frame to improve speed? Well, the issue is not that I have a lot of buildings. The issue has to do with textures, not the geometry, because my PC can handle over 1,000,000 triangles. So it's not really about the geometry, it's the texture. So if I delete the buildings outside the frame, I'm just deleting geometry, but the textures, because they share textures with the buildings in the same frame, I'm not really doing much. It's still going to be heavy because the computer is getting laggy because of textures, not geometry. I like it when it's gray and boring in solid mode, like this. Yeah. Okay. Let's use my quick functions and just play with the colors a bit here. Yeah, I think we can finalize this with a nice tint like that. And I think that's going to be it for today. Can't really do much anymore with this potato PC. And I show you that it's actually not geometry, but textures. We can add more instances. If I remove if I go out of shader mode, everything is super smooth because it's not really geometry, it's texturing. It's when you start to view textures that it becomes very difficult. Let me add more buildings here. And by the way, this is a great tip. If your PC starts to struggle, just work in solid mode, because in solid mode, you don't really have, the computer doesn't have to worry about textures. It can just do its thing without and forget about why is this okay. I want this building. Oh, I want this actually. Let's make this street complete as well. Just going to grab. I think this should also be in its own collection. Let me turn on random colors so that I can see the different objects. Actually, let me just grab this. Yes, thank you. These are helpful tips. You're welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Let me also grab this building here. We want this to extend the street. Let me first turn off this color Can see it only gets laggy if we are viewing the textures. Grab this building. You know what? I think this view is okay. Just have to just like that. Looks great. Thank you, thank you. Yo, thank you, TN, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Yes, okay. That's 10, 15 millimeters. So we can move the camera. There are a lot of other things you can add, like road stuff, like these road marks. Just that computer limitations. If at any point the stream just ends, just know my PC has crashed, because let me get this. By the way, if you're a Patreon, you can get these assets. Thank you, JB, for subscribing. Yeah, that's going to be it. When do you think YouTube will allow us to rewatch this? I'm not sure. They have to process it first. I'm not sure, but usually it doesn't take that long. Looks great. Thank you. Hey, thank you for the stream. Really helpful. We'll try to recreate Tocho 3 from what I've learned. Awesome. And if you're able to create something, you can share it on Discord. Just use !! Discord to check out our Discord server. I think we managed to get something useful and usable. So I'll see you in the next live stream. I think my cat is really big. For the scene.